Howdy, everybody. It's another Tuesday, and hope everyone had a great weekend. How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing, Mitch?
Hey, doing pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty
What's up,
good.
Brody?
What did you guys get up to this weekend?
I did a little fishing on the still water and caught a nice brown and a decent tiger, and then a whole bunch of medium-sized tigers, about 12 inches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Sweet.
I'm
Yeah.
so old, I don't remember what I did. It's already Tuesday.
It's already gone.
Long gone in the past.
What other plans you guys got coming up? You guys got any trips planned?
Yeah, I'm gonna start targeting the smaller creeks because runoff's going on out here now. So the bigger rivers are pretty chocolatey, milkety, and yeah, I'm gonna target some smaller, clear streams.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Heading to the river this weekend. Heading.
How high is it?
What's that?
How high is it?
Well, here the bow it's done. It's blown out
Yeah.
as of yesterday. It was.
Oh, really?
It came up quite a bit after the rainstorm yesterday. I didn't check it today, but I would assume it's going to take a couple days for that to kind of clear out. So I'm heading to Medicine Hat this weekend.
Oh.
Nice. Going for the sturgeon.
Yeah, kind of get it off the list. Go see Adam for a couple of days and be brain dead on the river.
Nice.
Sweet. What kind of setup you got to run?
Well, it's like any good spot, right? We don't discuss it here. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of what they call a fancy bitch, and so Adam will be personally tying my rigs this weekend, and I will be sitting in my chair relaxing while he gets me all set up with his preferred sturgeon rig method. So
you're not going to be rocking the P rigs and the Zebco rods then?
No, I mean I am planning on taking my Dora the Explorer rod. I heard it's perfect for reeling in, dinks.
Yeah,
I think it'll be good. I have no problem tying sturgeon rigs, but because I'll get out maybe once a year to do it. I just go off what the pro does, right? So
Yeah. Well, that's always fun.
Well, usually if I go with my own idea of what works, he just laughs at me. So it's going to kind of save my ego a little bit.
What are you going to chase this weekend, Ricky?
This weekend I don't know if I might fish in the afternoons, but I actually have tomorrow off and the next day, so those will be my days of targeting fish, which is kind of nice because then I get to sting all the fish up before the weekend warriors make it out there,
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to target. I might hit up the still water again because I still have the boat in the box of the truck.
Yeah.
Go catch some more browns and maybe some tigers, rainbows.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Where you headed, Mitch?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'm supposed to work. I think I'm supposed to work for the near future.
The boat's ready, though, right? You can go at any time.
Yeah. We can all try to sneak away at some point.
Yeah.
This is the first time I did a podcast where I can actually see everyone. It's pretty nice.
Oh, you have the service.
I have the service, yeah. I can actually see you guys instead of just a blank screen this time.
Just memeing your way through it.
Yeah. Guessing your facial reactions.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to get out for some still water.
Would be nice,
Some rainbows and tigers. But we'll see. If it's the weekend, there's spots I just won't go because it's just going to be insane. But
yeah,
we'll see.
I'd like to target some brook trout too, but I find they don't bite that well this time of the season.
No,
it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, you can still get some, but it's not like midsummer or fall time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So the great debate: spinning versus fly fishing. There's so many different opinions there.
Yeah,
Hey, Scott.
How's it going, Scott?
Hello.
BJ.
What's up?
Yeah. So I know I like to carry both with me.
Same
Pretty
here.
much
I
all the
always
time.
carry both rods with me, no matter where I go.
I carry both, but here's my problem. And I know BJ's here, and well, I mean, this will be an epic battle. I'm too fucking lazy to set up my fly rod most days. If I'm hitting the river, I have an hour. My spin cast is folded in half. It's ready to go. My
Yeah.
issue is that for the amount of time it takes me to set up my fly rod, I know most guys are like, just knock it down, throw it in your truck. I break stuff, and I break a lot of stuff. And so my fly rod, typically I'll use 15 to 20% of the time just because I see shiny things and I don't like sitting around to wait.
Yeah.
You know, I go fishing with Tash and Adam and them, and, you know, nothing gets me more mad than watching any of them setting up their fly rod and getting it ready. And by that time, I'm already fishing. I'm down there,
Yeah.
man. I'm in the thick of it. But I am trying to be better this year.
Yeah. You know, one tip I'd have for that is if you get one of those glass rods, they're actually way more durable than the graphite ones. And you can just kind of take it in half and put it in the back seat. And I've put mine through some pretty rough stuff, and it's still with me today. So that's good.
Well, you're also a third of my size, so I have a tendency to Hulk smash stuff. So
Oh yeah.
you have a little bit more Rickles, Grace, or Mitch, because I know Mitch. You use your fly rod probably more than spin, right?
You're
Well, I
16
use them
feet
both.
tall?
That could be.
Everyone. What? Who's taller? Ricky's not taller.
No. He said he's 3 times bigger. I was like, you're 16 feet tall.
I mean, you're talking to a dude that takes dumps 3 times the size of your bicep. So
Yeah, that's not a bear on the
TMI,
trail.
TMI. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know where we were talking about, but
Yeah.
I just have a rod case for my fly rod. Just break it down, leave the hook on, and just slide it in.
Yeah.
The classic
That-
sleeve.
Yeah, that's when it takes a little bit longer to set up, but really it's not that bad. Just I guess, eh?
Yeah. It's quick.
Yeah. That would be one of the bonuses of spin rod over fly rod though, is a lot quicker to get fishing.
And to cover ground.
Yeah, definitely.
You can cover a lot of ground with spin gear. But when that finicky bite's on,
Ew.
sometimes that little fly is the only thing they'll take.
Absolutely.
huge difference.
And there's some people who will say, "Oh, spin fishing's way easier than fly fishing," which in a lot of cases I would agree with. But there's certain fish you can target that are just way easier to catch on the fly than they are on a spin rod.
Yeah.
If you're going for cutthroat or you're going for grayling and you have a dry fly or a little nymph on, you're going to catch way more than your buddy who's got the spin rod out.
Yeah.
Peace out, BJ. Good quick visit.
Yeah. No, 100% those cutties. You'll
Yeah.
catch way more cutthroats, I always find too.
For sure.
Oh, absolutely, you will.
But
And I think the
Even-
most exciting way to watch a fish bite has got to be on the dry fly.
yeah,
My favorite, anyways.
I don't know. Spot fishing big fish is pretty fun too.
Well,
Yeah.
You see that like pike or something, then you
For
just
sure.
start stripping and it just keeps coming. Then you just start tensing up, then you just throw it away from them.
Like him flying at it.
That's what I'm really looking forward to this year is pike on the fly rod. I know Sebastian and I have talked about it quite a bit, and there's one thing that dude's good at. It's motivation to get me going, and I think that'll be the one thing I'm looking forward to on the fly rod this year for sure.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think my
fun.
3-weight's going to handle it too well.
Well, I have a 10 weight that's been sitting in the case for, I don't know, probably longer than Mitch and I have been friends. So I finally bit the bullet, got a reel for it this year, and it's going to happen. It'll happen.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Are you gonna head down south for some big pike, or what's your plan?
It's like sturgeon rigs. We don't discuss that here, Mitch.
Very secretive.
it's one of those things where I'll go wherever the captain's taking me. So yeah, we'll go southish there somewhere. I would imagine.
Yeah. Should go visit Scott and throw some big.
Adam and I were actually talking about doing a trip at the end of May. Maybe we'll talk about it again this weekend when I see him. I would love to get out to Manitoba again. I mean,
yeah,
fishing in Alberta hasn't been the same after a trip to Manitoba, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Northern Saskatchewan, Manitoba, it's insane.
It's only a 10-hour drive, right? 12 hours, big deal.
Not bad.
That's a nap.
That's an easy half dayer.
Yeah.
So hopefully end of May, but it'll be a tough call.
Yeah. With that fly versus spin, we kind of touched on some of the trout. If you're going for a rainbow, are you going to use your spin or fly right off the bat?
It really depends, because like Todd was saying, it's easier just to pull out the spin rod if you already got a hook on there. You just literally put it together and you can start casting. But if I have both rods put away, then I'll probably take out the fly rod first, because I feel like you can get a lot of big rainbows on the fly as well. So
yeah.
I would agree with you, Ricky. The problem for me is, I mean, because I am kind of bow specific, I log a lot of hours. My issue is I see a lot of well, BJ's gone now. I can call them fly dicks. I see a lot of guys on fly catch decent sized fish. I mean, Dino is classic for catching good sized fish. But I'm still a firm believer that spin cast is where it's at if you're hunting for big fish. Not saying it can't be done on fly, but just my experience for the way the river gets hit here, spin cast has always been my go-to for decent sized fish anyways.
for sure.
You just throw in that bigger meat probably, and just covering so much more ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to weed out a lot more of the smaller ones for rainbows if you're using a nice big crankbait or something like that.
Yeah, huge difference. And I mean, Dino is already kind of denying that he uses his fly rod for big fish, but I've seen it. Anyone wants pins, send $20. We'll get her all set up there for you.
Yeah. Did you see Jason was saying they're banning live bait in Manitoba now?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
So that's coming right away. I never used live bait there anyways, but
It'd be interesting to know a little bit more about their angle on that, because I mean, obviously there's, some science or study behind it. 2027, eh? Interesting.
Yeah, it's probably just from if they're bringing it from somewhere and getting those mussels and stuff. 'Cause they found that pack last year with that mussel in it in Saskatchewan from Manitoba, didn't they?
Yeah, well, I was reading Scott's post the other day before I logged out there for a little bit, kind of about the restrictions and stuff they're implementing. And it's tough. I mean, you look at guys like Scott that are kind of stewards of the sport out there, and it's like anything, right? It only takes kind of a few people to ruin it. It's unfortunate. I understand it, because, I mean, we've been dealing with it in Alberta for so long, right? So hopefully there's good reason to it and it doesn't affect too much. But as far as the live bait, it's probably because, we live in a society where everyone has rights. So now the minnows have rights too. And we got to be dead, not live.
The he-she minnows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe they don't identify as minnows, right?
They might identify as brood stock. I mean,
exactly.
To be honest here, right? Leeches suck. They don't really see it coming, but apparently they have feelings. So I would only assume that that's probably what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
I got a question for you guys. With all the forest fires going on, how do you think the rivers are going to react to that with all that charcoal and stuff going into it?
It's an interesting question. I never really thought much about that. I know if the fire was to take out the bushes beside the river, it could affect like how much bugs are going into the river, right? Because a lot of bugs are falling out of the trees into the river.
Yeah.
That would affect it. I never thought about the charcoal aspect, though.
What's your thought, Mitch? I'm interested to know now, because I've never thought about this.
Well, I was just thinking of it today, but you look at aquariums and you get charcoal filters, right?
Yep.
and stuff like that. But if you have too much charcoal, it can't be that great for it. And with all that grass and everything gone, as soon as a runoff hits, that bank's just going to get chewed away and it's just going to be mudded.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, from an erosion control aspect, for sure, it will affect things. I don't know. I guess the way I look at it too is fire's been happening for hundreds of years and the fish are still here. So it happens, right?
Yeah.
But erosion control, I could definitely see kind of that angle and how it affects things. Dino, yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It'll be okay.
But yeah, Roy's right from a sediment standpoint. It's going to change things, especially up in those areas. I mean, there's some really good fishing up north, right?
Yeah. But
I guess
Yeah,
we'll find out. We're going to have to go out and fish those waters when everything kind of clears up.
Yeah. Check on the graylings.
Yep.
So do you think if it's not too much charcoal, that would help clean the rivers? Because you mentioned a charcoal filter.
Yeah.
Could that be a factor as well, maybe?
It'd purify it for better fishing, maybe.
Yeah. Clean up the water. Make better water quality.
It has to make you wonder. There's got to be some studies on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Now I have to look.
We'll find out.
Google never lies, right?
Yeah.
So with the spin fishing gear, how much do you guys get a lot of flack from spin fishing on like fly fishing rivers that you see more fly fishing on?
I don't know about that. I mean, I feel that it's kind of the age-old debate, right? I mean, I understand what a lot of people are saying from, there's certain people down here that'll get flack for the whole wrap, crank, treble debate. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think both sides have valid points. But, Mitch, you and I have talked about this, and I think everyone kind of discusses it. You can blame whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's like any accident, it comes down to the operator. And, I think if you're doing it respectfully and you're doing it proper, I understand, people think that the mortality rate goes up in treble hooks. We can sit here and beat that dog to death all day long, but it all comes down to respect to the angler.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that I get flack for spin fishing so much, but sometimes I'll get like discredited on fish. Like I'll catch a nice fish and I'll show one of my fly fishing buddies and they're like, "Oh, you get it on the spin rod or the fly rod?" I'm like, "Oh, I got that on the spin rod." Oh, it doesn't count as much for them for some reason. Yeah, good for you, But if you're out fishing and you're catching big fish, it's a good time either way. I don't care if it's on the spin or the fly, as long as you're taking care of the fish.
Yeah, and Brody's 100% right. He says bait fishing is the bad mortality rate. I spend a lot of hours on the bow. We see a lot of cowboys with their spin rods out there and even bait fishing, which they get reported. But I will guarantee you 9 times out of 10, I have seen more guys with fly rod play a fish, have an undersized net, or beat that fish to death thinking it's cooler reeling it in and then taking the time to do hero shots and stuff with it by the time, we've netted them and released them. So, there's always going to be fingers pointing in both directions, in my opinion.
For sure. And I've hurt fish both ways. Sometimes a fish will take the hook the wrong way. They'll take it deep in the tongue and they'll start bleeding. I've had that happen with tiny little nymphs or tiny little dry flies as well. It's not just spinning lures. It's not just trebles. Again,
everyone's going to disagree, but I've seen a prominent guide here on the bow again, out with a guy and his girlfriend, release and reel back in a fish 3 times just for the footage and the photo. So, it's an interesting conversation when someone wants to debate me over treble hooks, right?
Yeah, that's not good. What do you think about like the Yukon and has just single hook on cranks and stuff like that in the rivers?
I mean, BC is very similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's more of an advantage for the fish than it is the angler. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I do find sometimes when you put single hooks on spinning lures, it affects the action somewhat.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys have ever bought a Panther Martin with a single hook on it and compared it to Panther Martin with a treble hook, but it doesn't spin the same. It's kind of got like a little bit more of a wobble to it. It doesn't have as much vibration to it.
I've actually never noticed that, but now I want to try that. That's a pretty valid point I never thought about.
Yeah.
Probably just a balance issue then.
Yeah, I think it's a balance issue because the treble has the 3 hooks on all sides, so it's more balanced out, right?
Hmm.
It's not a huge difference, but I do notice it. Dinos thinks that you can catch big fish on Panther Martins, but that's a damn lie.
I would actually side with you on that. The Greek doesn't know what he's talking about, but I mean, I've seen the dude cast, so it's kind of questionable.
Yeah.
I think it's how you fish that specific spinner.
True.
How do you fish it? I'm interested to know.
My favorite way to fish, like a Panther Martin, for example, is to cast upstream, and I'll let it sink for 2 to 3 seconds, depending on the depth, of course, maybe longer.
Yep.
But then before I start just reeling it in, I'll give it a little jerk, and that just allows me to know that it's not wrapped around the line, and I can feel the vibration when I give it that solid jerk.
Yep.
And then I'll start reeling it in slowly before I just start reeling it in. I always give it a little pull test first, make sure it's vibrating good, and then I go nice and slow back towards me.
Nice, man. That's actually, I love that method.
Yeah. How about you?
What do you?
Oh, I don't use spinners. They're for.
Oh.
No, I'm joking.
No, it does.
Honestly, I mean, my favorite retrieve method is very similar to yours. Casting upstream. If I know it's not snaggy, I use spinners quite a bit as well. For some of that faster water, I just let her smash off the rocks till it's downstream of me, and then reel in. And I find my success rate has been considerably higher by doing that. But you have to have some faith and patience and understanding that she's probably not coming back. There's a good chance you're going to lose it. But if you do it right, I've always had great success with it that way. So smaller streams, obviously different, but
yeah. And like I will cast downstream with it too, but when on a river, for example, if I'm gonna fish it downstream, I'll always cast straight across from myself and let it sink and go downstream for like that. That way it has time to sink. Because if you just cast right downstream, it's gonna sit near the top level of the water. It's not gonna sink very far down there.
Yeah. But I guess small stream stuff is probably a little bit trickier on a retrieval end of things, isn't it? I mean, I don't do a lot of small stream stuff with spinners, but
it can be, yeah. And that's when the size of the spinner really comes into play.
Yeah.
You can use like a size 15 Panther Martin or a size 9 Panther Martin, which is the bigger ones in the bigger rivers, and they work great. But if you try using it in the smaller creeks, you're not going to have time to get it spinning good before it's hitting the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always find casting those little creeks and just using the smallest one when you cast up into the run to try to keep up. You're not really getting a good spin, so all I do is keep it twitching the whole way back to me, just to get that flash. Otherwise, it's just you're moving way too fast. It feels like,
for sure. And I find like if you're casting upstream, for example, if you hold your rod on this side of your body, casting and bringing it back, you have a better retrieval. And then let's say you're casting downstream this way and you hold it on this side, then you have a better retrieval as well. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know you and I've talked about that before, right? I see some of your retrieval videos and I'm like, what is this freak doing? But you're right. That stuff actually works pretty well.
I've had people say that about how I cast too.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of ding, fries, or done retrieval method there.
The upside down cast, and then I flip the reel back over after I start retrieving it.
It produces, man. So I mean, who's to criticize, right?
Yeah, whatever works, as long as it's legal. Whatever works.
100%.
Yeah. If you're not using Panther Martin, what's your next go-to on the rivers? I know we kind of touched on them.
Well, I mean, I see Dino's comment, and he's 100% right. Dome Craft has been my go-to. CST, they've done such a phenomenal job with that product. I know that it's tricky for a lot of people to fish with, and it does take a little bit of practice, whole lot of cuss words. It's always produced really well for me. Brown trout, rainbow trout. The Rockies absolutely love to smash the pink and white, or it's like a pearlish color. And I mean, sure, you're going to lose them, but the quality of that product that they produce, I mean, the cost of them is not really as much as what most would think. And then oh man, what are the other ones? I always forget Dino will remember whatever the name of the other CSTs are. I always forget. You're right. Guys don't know how to use domes.
I've never used them before. I'd like to try one day.
Oh, they're amazing. Yeah, especially if you like to bottom fish that angle. Live target. Sorry if anyone's a live target rep. I've never dealt with such garbage in my life as I have this year. I think I've literally gone through. If anyone from Live Targets watching, feel free to come over for a chat. I'm talking like 1-2 cast, nose cones gone, absolute junk. They're actually going through right now what Rapala went through with a lot of their stuff a few years ago, where it was just absolute garbage. And Live Target's going through that now, so I just won't use it.
Weird. I've never had a problem with a Live Target.
Yeah. I usually use Rapalas.
What's that?
I usually use Rapalas. I've never tried the CST. I'd like to try them, and I don't buy Live Target because they're a little bit more expensive than Rapalas. So I
mean, the Rapala stuff, Countdown this year, actually, I've never been a fan of Countdown. Again, kind of an acquired taste, but Countdown in brook trout this year has been phenomenal on the bow.
Huh.
Yeah. I actually got some Brown's angling crankbaits too. I haven't got to test them out too much, but they look like they have pretty good action. So I'm excited to try them out some more.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever use plastics?
Oh, tube jigs. I don't know if you consider that a plastic or not, but that's there. If I had to name the top 3 river baits, it would be a spinner, a crankbait, and a tube jig. Those are the top 3 for me.
Sweet.
You know what's weird is I went through my stuff today and I have like 8 trays of tube jigs, and I cannot figure out at what point in my life I decided I should have 3 million tube jigs in my tackle. But yeah, they're great. I think I'm going to use them more for walleye this year.
Probably when you went to Cold Lake.
Yeah, which has been a couple years now, right? Now that I stood true and didn't go there this year, so
1 year.
1 year. Next year will be different.
You should come in the summer.
It's a fun time in the summer.
Total different.
You know what? Everyone says that, but I mean, here's the issue for me: is it's busy season. It's also 6 hours, and there's nothing that really is appealing to me about Cold Lake. Sorry for any of you that are up there. Greg is, I mean, probably the only reason I'd go up there is for his tongue piercing. But in general, it's just a little bit of a long haul for this old dude, right? If I'm going to go anywhere, I'm going to go south. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I don't need to bounce up there 6 hours to go do Lakers. I just doesn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah, and you can get them in the rivers there too, which is nice.
Yeah.
I won't say no to that, Dinos.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the rivers, it's even more fun to catch lake trout, so I don't blame you there.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I guess, you know, it goes back to the age-old debate, right? Because I know a lot of guys in kind of the northern half, Mitch, I want to say you're lucky being in between, but then, you know, you get a lot of anglers from like Edmonton and stuff that are like, well, you guys have this, and this down there, and we don't have that. So I don't think there's really a happy medium, right? I just know Lakers for 6 hours, 6-hour drive doesn't put lead in my pencil, so.
Might as well go for a 12-hour drive.
Exactly, right? I think Scott put it. We were supposed to go to Athabasca this winter, and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I mean, there's other places you can go. I get it; it's an awesome fishery. I'm not discounting that at all. So
yeah, it's a good time if you want to go and catch a bunch of Lakers in between like 24 to 30 inches.
Yeah.
I went with DJ one time in his boat, and all you got to do is just drop your hook to the bottom and you start reeling up, and it was constant bites. So it's a good time, but it's a long drive for you. I get that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd rather go when I can be disappointed, right? So that's why ice fishing Cold Lake is always a little bit more fun for me. You know, something always goes wrong. So I'm a huge fan of trips going sideways. So that's why Cold Lake's just a better fit in the winter for me.
For sure. Why catch 30 lake trout in a day when you can get skunked in a day, right?
Yeah. Oh, why not, right? Minus 30. And one thing I will say about Cold Lake is there's always a story. Mitch knows this because Mitch has been there.
Always a story.
I don't care who goes to Cold Lake. I haven't done it open water, but if you're ice fishing Cold Lake, if you don't come out of there with a story, then you probably did it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
Especially
me.
If you don't see a tent blowing by in the middle of the night and people running after it and just a lantern sitting over there, you're not having fun yet.
Yeah.
That happened to me and Kyle Stevens once too. We were just camped out on the ice and the whole tent just came flying over. We had to just wake up from a dead sleep and grab the tent.
I mean, and not that it's an ice fishing show, but I think anyone will agree with me on that topic that there's a level of preparedness, right? The issue is it doesn't matter how prepared you are, you're not prepared enough. But I'm sure you guys have seen it, especially with angling and how it's changed since COVID. There's a lot of people that want to go out on adventures and aren't prepared for it. And it's frustrating, and it's why I've gotten to the point where I'm not accepting any new friend applications, right? I get so frustrated when I go on trips with people that I haven't fished with before that I either feel like I'm in the way or they're just annoying the shit out of me and I'd rather just leave them on the side of the road. So that's just my personal opinion.
I hear you.
And Mitch is agreeing. I can tell he doesn't want to say it.
I know how you are. Sometimes you gotta be like, Todd, shut up. Relax, man.
Sebastian says no one talks as much as I do with 0 point or purpose.
Or throw lures around.
Yeah, that's enough ice fishing though. I don't want to think about that until November.
100% when you buy my shack. Yeah.
Is your shack still for sale?
It is still for sale, yeah, but we'll save that for the fall show. Everything's for sale in my life.
Yeah, I could use a shack, maybe.
Everything has a price.
100%.
You could probably still go up to Allstones and catch some brookies through the ice.
I mean, I think anyone ice fishing past April probably needs their head checked, but
Ryan Brown.
Yeah, Cash.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You guys think I'm crazy. It's just the safety factor, right? I mean, I think we're lucky so far this year we haven't had any deaths. We don't want to see that. Everyone needs to be safe, right? Especially open water with all the, like you said earlier, the weekend warriors and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about fly fishing? Say you're going for a cutthroat. What length of leader are you guys running usually?
Oh, the cutthroat, I don't find to be that picky at all. Like you start off with the ones that come in the full ones, they're 9 feet long. And once it's down to maybe 6 feet or so, then that's time to tie on a new chunk. But those cutthroat are so not picky. And as long as you're not using a dry fly, if you're using a dry fly, I like to leave the leaders a bit longer. But if you're nymphing, you can get as short as a 6 foot leader and they'll still smash it.
What's your favorite pattern, Ricky? I want to fly fish more this year.
For cutthroat.
Yeah.
Well, if I can get them on the dry fly, that's always my preferred method. I like
just
using
don't dry fly for them.
That's anytime they're rising at all, I'm just going dry fly.
Just puts them right on the spot.
But mosquito dry fly is probably my favorite dry fly because they're hatching every night, everywhere, all
That's
year.
Good to know. I had Ryan Storch tie me a crap load of them like 2 years ago. They literally haven't even left the case, so maybe I'll give that a try.
Yeah, he ties really nice flies.
He does, yeah.
It's like an art.
Yeah, I mean, respect to any of you that tie flies or do any of that stuff out there. Obviously, I've done the brain dead tackle thing, snort some lead and throw on some paint. But I think anyone that has the patience or talent to be able to tie, man, oh man, my hat's off to you, because I'd be Hulk smashing stuff constantly.
I don't even think your sausage fingers could literally wrap around a tie or a fly.
No, absolutely not. I'd just be getting all angry because there's little micro ties. Like anyone that follows a lot of people that tie, like Ryan Storch, I mean, that guy, it's insane. I don't know how he does it. And he enjoys it too, which says a little bit about Ryan Storch. But yeah, anyone that can tie, I mean, any of that stuff is pretty cool in my books.
Yeah, you gotta have a ton of patience for sure.
You tie a little bit, don't you, Rick?
I have. I used to have a vise and some fly tying material, and then the vise broke. So I was like, I'll just buy my flies from now on.
Yeah. What do you do, Mitch? Do you buy yours as well, or?
I tie, but mostly Dad has a problem with tying.
Yeah.
So I just take his donations.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's
I'm
usually
still
pretty
waiting
good
for
at
him to adopt me. I
donating.
don't know. I haven't seen the papers come through yet, but.
Yeah, no, I think. Well, I guess Monday the lakes open up around here, so
yeah,
hopefully Monday night get on some whiteys. I think on the fly.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'll be fun.
Are you going to the Yukon this year, Mitch?
Oh, I don't think so. Next year.
Next year? Okay.
Next year we'll do Yukon, BC.
Nice.
Do our salmon trip or Yukon trip. Just too much this year with the acreage, baby.
Yeah.
Work's going to be swamped. So might as well get that under control a little.
Yeah. And hunting season's coming anyways, right?
Yeah, we got lots of bears at the bait right now. My buddy's baiting right now on it. So I think we got 4 or 5 bears there right now. And actually he was there on Sunday and they were just filling the bait and they were hiding in the ground blind and he was watching water boil. And then all of a sudden he looked up and there was 2 bears on the bait. So
nice. You gonna do any bird hunting this fall?
Nope.
No?
No.
You don't hunt?
Pardon?
You don't hunt unplanned game birds very often?
Oh, birds? Yeah, I'll do birds.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. This fall, you're gonna hunt some upland game birds?
Yeah, I gotta get the dog out. Stretch the legs.
Go for some pheasant?
Yeah, we'll get on the pheasants, and that's pretty much all I do. If I'm driving around out west on a lunch break after hunting big game, I'll go for some roughies and stuff. But
yeah.
Are you, Ricky?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm trying to finish the whole upland game bird list on with the slingshot. So far, I've got 3 of the species. I still got the dusky grouse, the blue grouse, or that is the same bird. The dusky grouse, the sharptail, Hungarian partridge, and then the 2 ptarmigan left to get. So I'm gonna try and finish the list this fall. Yeah, I love it. It's a blast. Love the taste of them.
Oh yeah.
Do they taste like chicken?
The roughies especially, like I'd say it tastes like a really fresh chicken. That's the best way I can describe it.
Pheasants are better.
They're neck and neck, but I put the bar up above for roughies just a little bit.
No. Or Hungarians are pretty good too. Bacon.
I haven't tried one of those yet.
Yeah, they're good.
We have them around city a lot. I'll have to hit one with my truck and get back to you on that.
Yeah.
I saw some the other day on my way down to the bow. There was a bunch on the road.
Oh, you fished the bow with no invite. Cool.
Hey, it was last minute.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it was like, oh, sweet. I have an opening to go fish the bow. And I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's cool. I say the same thing when I go to Vancouver to not visit my grandma. Thanks.
Anywho.
Actually, Mitch, who were you with on the bow? Because I didn't get a chance to watch your video, but it looks like you made a trip down here out in the jet boat, right? That looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I was with Nick from Bow River Bank Robbers.
Okay.
It was a blast. He's got his jet boat. It's only set up for one other person in the jet boat, but then he has a drift boat too. to take 2 other people with them.
Nice.
And hopefully I can get down and do that again in the drift boat here soon.
Yep.
But it's a blast. He knows the river good. Like, he knew where there's fish. He says there's fish, there's fish.
Just cast there, you'll catch one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a totally different world, jet versus drift, right? It's actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I see a lot of guys drift down here that fish bodies over sections of the river that I'm like, there's no way in hell I would fish that. And they don't catch anything. And I stand there and I laugh at them. And I wonder why that is. I don't know.
Yeah. We found like a lot of stuff that if it was a smaller river, I wouldn't have touched really. Like it was further out from like the seam or something. It was kind of a little more no man's land, but the structure under there must have been holding fish more that I wouldn't have known about. And that's why you get a guide to know those secret little pockets pretty much.
Yeah.
And they're going to put you on fish and teach you about that body of water pretty much.
And the reason why that does kind of make sense to me is I fished a spot probably 3 or 4 weeks ago where I was watching a lot of guys fly fishing, but I was standing on the bridge and the sections they were fishing weren't at all the sections where you could actually see the fish rising and surfacing, which is a section of river that I would not normally fish. So that would make a lot of sense. And even when Dino and I fish, he fishes a lot of water I wouldn't fish and vice versa. So comes down to the individual. I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, that big water, it's so much different than our little streams around here, kind of. If you're targeting those little streams that just opened, there's just so much more stuff to target.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot more patience in my older days. When I was younger, I used to just fish a hole for a couple minutes and move on right away.
How old are you? Okay.
I'll be 34 here in a couple months.
Dude, I love you, but I am so tired of the 30-year-old saying about one in my younger day.
Yeah.
What is it with your generation? I think Brody's in that same generation. Your younger day, sakes, get over 40, and then you can maybe use that card. You're still a spring chicken, man. You're hiking for Goldens and Mitch, don't you start using that age card, man. I'm going to snap on your show.
I'm sore, man. I am sore. I barely limped in here today. My ankle's killing me. I'm dying.
I honestly wouldn't have even guessed you're over 40, Todd.
Well, thank you.
That's the only compliment you're getting from me today. But yeah, no, seriously, I wouldn't have guessed that.
I'll try to compliment you later in the show. But anyways, I guess it's the age card.
Oh, yeah.
It's game over.
You are doing Goldens this year, probably, right?
Every year. That's my favorite trip of the season. Man.
Mitch, you doing it?
I don't know. I got to go to the doctor. I need a foot stretcher. Man, I'm broken. I'm so broken. Last year I did an antelope trip and I just stayed like on my meds and painkillers the whole time. Then I went back down for mule deer, and first day I think we put on 20-some K, and there's like this much snow, so you couldn't see any of the holes or anything or the rocks, and I just destroyed my ankle in a day and had to come up lame.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of the guys have been saying, listen, you can do it, you can make it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not putting any of my friends through that torture. Dino and I did a hike there about a month ago. Yeah, it feels great. It's awesome, but I just don't think it's something I'm willing to kind of risk. Coming down will be easy. I can roll 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But, I think I'll book the helicopter. I'm a little bit different shopper, so I think they got to put me in a hefty bag and strap me in. And
that's what I was going to say. Like how they take cattle out of places and stuff. They just hang you underneath.
I think you can actually buy the fly in, tranquilize the bear, and fly them up the mountain package. So I'm going to probably look into that.
Yeah. I've heard people.
Just start going through garbage cans behind the Nordegg Hotel, and they might give you a free trip.
Yeah, there you go.
The thing is I don't even want to fly up there in a helicopter to fish. I want to fly up there so I can get out, laugh at everyone that made the hike, and then just book it.
Yeah. I've heard people make the argument that why would you spend like $300 to $500 on a helicopter for 12 to 14-inch fish? But it's totally worth it, man. Like those fish are so beautiful, and it's like you're on vacation up there. You're up in places that you normally wouldn't be. Just awesome, awesome
I
scene.
actually like that you bring that topic up because I'd love to know your opinion on how you think when people say that about guiding.
People say, "What about guiding?"
Why would I spend $400 or $500? What's your thought on that?
Well, I myself would never pay for guiding in Alberta or guide in Alberta. I just feel like there's too many pressured waters, especially the rivers, which that's what people want to be guided on.
Right.
But I try not to get into the guiding thing too much because I don't really want to offend friends that are guides and stuff like that, But for me, guiding isn't the option.
Well, as luck should have it, I can pull the old card. And I do agree with you from the pressure standpoint. I know, Mitch, you don't get to comment on this because I fully agree. The $400 or $500 is one thing, and the pressure, which I never thought about, is another. I have a little bit of a different opinion on it. Is that I think that most anglers, especially in our society, should almost be forced to have to go with a guide on a lot of angles because of the stuff that you learn. And I'll use the bow as an example. And even though he doesn't get back to me about his tackle, I guess I'll give kudos to Robertson. So if you want to talk about people that don't really care what other people say, think, or do, I will openly admit that for the bow, I struggled for years. I had some very colorful words for that place. But people like Robertson or other guides that are, they're expensive for sure. But learning and understanding the water, how to read it, what to use, and the methods for sure changed my kind of angle on how I am as an angler. So, yeah, I mean, I know it's expensive, but I think that there's almost some people, maybe even a couple on here, I won't call it publicly, that should probably go get a guide so that they can learn how to fish proper.
Yeah, well, I think most of that could be covered in a mandatory course that before you're able to buy your fishing license, which would be another great option as well.
Yeah, that's actually a valid point. I know we've talked about it for years. Mitch was supposed to go march on Parliament over it, but
yeah, what are you doing, Mitch?
I can't march my ankle, remember?
It is so true, though. It is so true.
Yeah. It should be like a hunting license.
For
I
sure.
don't see why not.
Yeah.
You still have to process it if you're keeping it. You still have to know the difference between the fish. You still have to know how to do stuff properly, releasing, keeping them in the water, etc. Right?
Yeah, and one thing I'm actually bad at, I see what Dino just mentioned there, which is pretty valid, is, going with someone that knows and understands it. I would say Dino, not to pump his tires too much, but the one thing I love about Dino is that he is willing to take anybody out, like he says, for free, right? The one thing I hate about Dino is he's willing to take anyone out for free because usually all the good spots are, what's the word we're politically allowed to use here? Molested? I don't know.
Yeah.
He's willing to take the time to take you out and show you, but then that also teaches people the right way to do it and where to fish all the time. So it's a love-hate relationship with him on that, but we need something, man. Something's got to change.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I love taking out new to fishing people and teaching them the basics and showing them the ropes. It's enjoyable for sure. I just can't imagine doing it as a job and getting paid to do it. And it's then there's
Sounds like
people
a dream job.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like there's lots of good people that want to buy a guide, but there's also the extremely lazy people who will use that information and take advantage of it. And they'll come back and fish those spots with bait and like poach those fish, and like those people are going to pay once so they can do all that, take advantage of rivers and stuff afterwards. So that's one reason that I would want a guide.
Yeah,
only Americans.
But Rick, it's funny you mentioned that. I know I'm supposed to call you Rickles, but I'm going to call you Ricky because that's the way it is, and I say what I want.
Yeah, I do what I want.
Like you bring up introducing new people to fishing, and has it not at any point kind of tainted how you feel about that because of that specific reason that now those people are going out either bait fishing or I don't like to say using your spots because anyone that has a brain between their ears is able to research and find a spot. But does that not affect things for you? And because I know you don't go out of your way to angle with different people either. I mean, you won't openly admit it for the YouTube likes, but if Jim Bob Jones messages you tomorrow to go fishing, there's a good possibility you're not going to take him unless he's a good friend and you want to show him the experience, right?
That's true, and it's a lot to do with it is because I do get a lot of messages from people who want to go fishing, and I can't have favoritism towards one stranger over the other, and I can't get out with everyone because there's a lot of people that want to.
Yep.
So, and I have been burned before on spots where you take someone out to a spot and you think they're a cool guy, and then a couple weeks later they go to that spot without you after you said, oh, maybe at least let me know before you head to the spot or something. Like have a little courtesy, a little respect. But you get burnt every once in a while. It sucks, but I just become more selective with who I fish with now since then.
Well, and especially for you, right? I mean, you have a very strong channel and a lot of followers that way. So I mean, I can imagine just the hours you put in alone are not easy to try to find that stuff, right? So. Oh
yeah, I put in some serious hours for some of these spots and the videos for sure.
Yeah.
That was a good answer,
Chris. I don't know what you're agreeing with. You're the number one guy to follow people to their spots. You've stolen a few of mine.
I just called Oh man.
This is why Mitch didn't have me on the show more than every 6 months, everyone. So if you don't like it,
no filter.
Todd, because he's banished back to the basement after this.
Hey man, once I got Gord Pfizer on the show once, I could care less what anyone thinks.
Yeah, without Todd, this show wouldn't happen. I just kind of piggybacked off of him.
No, you don't need to pump my tires, bud. This is you.
Yeah, no, that like Ricky said, it's hard to take people out. Like, sure, people are always like, "Hey, call me. Hey, let's go here." But once you get burnt a couple times, it's like, I don't really want to take people out anymore.
And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I'm actually opposite. If someone wants to fish, I will actually tell them, like, I don't care. We'll go fish wherever you want. But I mean, I have some of my best friends will say, where did you go? And I won't tell them because it's not my spot to give. And that's how I've always been. And I'm not saying that so Ricky will invite me out. I've only been asking for 10 years. But it is correct, right? I mean, if you're not going to have respect for someone, Mitch, I know people that have burned you bad over this, right? I mean, that goes back to the whole guide thing. If you're not going to have the respect, then just get your ass kicked and get out of the kitchen.
Yeah. So like if I do go out with someone new, one of the things I found is better to do is ask to go to their spot first, like you want to go fishing, let's check out one of your good spots first. And then if that goes well, then, maybe I'll take you to one of my good spots.
Yeah.
That way I don't feel like it's like I'm guiding for free and I'm just giving away all my good spots just for nothing, right? Give and take.
Is that Bennett?
Yeah, he's having a bath. He's upset.
Oh, is he? He's not in the water.
He's upset that someone might take his fishing spots. So now he's learned.
Oh,
they will one day.
He's probably pissed because he asked Ricky to invite him, and Ricky never got back to him.
Hey, I don't remember getting any asks to go fishing.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I'm back on Facebook, I'll bring up my messenger, and I've actually logged specific dates and times, so I'll get back to you on that one, bud.
Okay. I would love to go fishing with you one day, Todd.
I know.
To your spot.
Give you a hard time.
We can go to your hot spots.
Where are you at with the new GoPro? Are you still promoting that?
So yeah, I figured out an idea. I'm gonna do a pretty sweet giveaway, and people are gonna put in $20 to enter. You get one entry per $20, and that's gonna cover the cost for me to get a new GoPro, so I can start filming more content for my followers because that was a big hit. Losing that GoPro.
Yeah. What happened to it?
Well, I was using it underwater, which I've done for many years, and it just wasn't waterproof anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
Just lost its waterproof quality.
Yeah.
Not a good quality to lose.
No.
Yeah. So no, I'm looking forward to that. I got some awesome followers who are willing to help me out, and I'm gonna keep helping them out by pumping out the videos and giving them tips and advice and sharing the adventures. So pretty happy with that.
I mean, I think kudos to you, right? I mean, I know you, like anyone, have your lovers and your haters, but I think at the end of the day, you know, if you're willing to put it out there and show people what you're doing and your passion for it and how you go about, you know, handling it and being a good steward of the angling community, then why not, man? People should rally around you for that, right?
Yeah, like I love helping people out with the videos, and even I get messages almost every day from people asking, "Oh, what should I use at this river?" Or, you know, like what would be a good hook for this type of species? And I don't mind answering those questions at all. So
funny, I would tell them to learn how to read, but that's just me. Well, I would honestly buy, you know, 5 or 6 spots for that. So when you're ready, just let me know. I'll fire you some coin. I think that's pretty cool giveaway. So
thanks, I appreciate that. Appreciate that too, Chris. No,
so
that's awesome.
Over Rickles Fisher, you can find the more information. I'm sure he has that post up, and I'm sure you'll get more information as time goes on.
Yeah, I'll have the official post up hopefully tomorrow or the next day. So then we'll get it rolling, and hopefully I can get a new GoPro here by next week, and then I can start pumping out some good videos. I'm gonna do my best to make them even better than before. So I'm looking forward to that.
You, man.
Sweet. What are you gonna do, Todd?
What am I gonna do?
Are you gonna make the video?
Uh-oh.
What kind of video you want to make, big boy?
I don't want to make that video.
I already know I'm already gonna get messages that oh yeah, you smashed Ricky behind his back, but now you're donating to his cause. Well, message away, you won't get a hold of me. Honestly, man, I'm trying something different. I'm trying something different. I can't tell you what it is because Chris is here. He'll steal the idea. I don't know if anyone's been following Adam. Probably not because he's not around much. But you know, YouTubing. Is he YouTubing? I'm not even.
That's all I can see. I can't even get a hold of him. He's gone.
What's he posting on YouTube? I don't follow a lot of YouTube.
I think he posted his video from last Sturgeons like a couple days ago last year.
Well, I mean, he's found another passion outside of fishing, which I think is just friggin' awesome, which is photography. Yeah. And I mean, this dude's hardcore, and I'm gonna pull the H card, so I bought a metal detector.
Oh,
do you have black socks with sandals?
Yeah, I'm gonna get like the headphones and the safari hat, and I don't know. I just want something different, or magnet fish. I don't know.
I hear you, man.
Right? Just something different. Why not?
I became so obsessed with fishing that I had to split up my hobbies. That's why I bought a slingshot and started hunting with it, because it's like, okay, I'm focusing almost too much on fishing. Like I need to split this up a little bit and expand the hobbies.
No such thing as you're way off base, because if that's the case, then you'd be doing YouTube channels on slingshot hunting. So I think you're in denial on the fishing thing.
Well, I do videos on slingshot hunting as well.
I know, but just admit fishing is your priority.
It is. It'll always be number one. You're right there.
Dude, you're promoting trying to get a GoPro for fishing, and then you just said that fishing
and hunting. Yeah. No, fishing's always number one, that's for sure.
Yeah. So you can get a magnet.
I wish Alex was still watching this show, because he never did go back for his new auger at McGregor. So,
oh yeah,
I have to go magnet fish that for him this year.
I have one at work sitting on my desk. I just haven't brought it home.
Like a big ass magnet.
Yeah, a big magnet.
You got the round one?
No, well, it's round, but it's like got a little hook that goes through it. Not a hook, but like a bolt with the ring on it, and you just attach that rope.
Yeah, I tried it, but it got stuck to the plate in my head when I cast it, so it's sitting in the shop. Well, maybe I have to try side casting it this year or something.
Just walking around with a ponytail.
It's how I'm flying up for Golden this year. They're just gonna.
Yeah.
Just
Wait for
grabbing
the
you.
helicopter.
Oh, are you going for Golden or what?
Who?
You.
Yeah, why not? I'll book a chopper. I'm not hiking it.
I know
Good, man.
me and
It'll be-
Aaron booked the chopper like
Like I
2
looked
years
last
ago.
year, and I believe that it was only like $600 or $700.
Yeah, it's not even that bad.
No,
Maybe for you. Yeah.
I
Well,
want to say it's $550, depending on how much weight you have in your bag. But I think it's even under $600 to do a round trip there and back. So
But that's
Totally
just for
worth it.
Todd getting on.
yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, they got to kind of double up, right?
yeah. Charge you for 2 people.
Not being rude, I'm actually looking on.
Dino says it's $3.99
And that's for round trip dinos?
and 3 pounds. $3 per pound. He just booked it right now.
$3 per pound. Well, do
Just
they?
booked it.
That's after your
So I am on a.
Nice.
Well, it says here golden trout heli fishing $650. It says
all
yeah,
in.
yeah, like they do. I don't
that
understand
one?
how it is a hike in for $750 or a fly in for $650. And then they have like brook trout lakes and grayling lakes on here for $650.
Really?
But it does say heli fishing golden trout
Is
$650.
that Nordegg Icefield Tours?
No, this is another company that I won't mention until I book it.
Okay, well there might be further away, and that's why it costs more. Nordegg
Yeah.
Icefield Tours is pretty close to those lakes, so that's why it's probably $3.99. Dino said.
Yeah, this must be different because they're saying a 20-hour hike, which I know that a lot of anglers that are going up there, it's not a 20-hour hike. So
Yeah. Well, there's the southern golden trout lakes, and you can get up to the one in a couple hours, and then the other one takes a little bit longer. You got to bike in and then hike in. That one's hard to find, but
yeah. I mean, it's for sure on the list. There's no reason not to. And I guess that's. I believe that's per person, Roy. I was on, and again, it could be. I didn't search a specific site, but this is Outfly Fishing Outfitters. So
okay.
maybe me mentioning their name will get me 2 for 1. I doubt it, but anyways, they're out there. Just got to search them. It's like a good regulation, right? If you don't know it, read it. So type it in Google.
So is that the last sport fish that both of you guys need to catch then? Is a golden trout?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I would say so.
I have to think about that. I don't think I've ever actually looked at the list, if I'm being brutally honest with you.
Oh yeah.
You checked them all off, right?
Yeah, I used to check them all off per season for when I did those derbies. I did it for probably 3 seasons in a row. And then that kind of got old. I didn't want to target sauger and sucker fish and stuff anymore. I loved the trout the most, so I stopped doing that.
Yeah, like just kind of looking at it, I'd say for sure there's a few suckers I haven't. I think I've got pretty much everything else.
Nice.
I mean, I haven't gotten into a lot of the minnows.
Yeah, I wouldn't count those as sport fish anyways.
Yeah,
But that'll make it even more exciting to go for those goldens, knowing it's the last one on the list to cross off.
I wonder what Will's getting at, because Colorado has some phenomenal fishing if he's from there.
Yeah. No, we're in Alberta.
I follow any of the stuff of what they angle for in Colorado. Oh.
Colorado's awesome. Some of those trips, even like their off-road trips into some of those lakes, are just sweet.
Yeah.
I'll have to go visit some relatives here soon. Hit it up.
Missing the golden. Yeah, I haven't caught a stone cat or a quill.
Oh, I need a stone cat too.
Yeah, I haven't got either of those. They're not sport fish, but I still want to catch them.
Would be cool anyways.
Yeah, I haven't even caught a Prussian carp. I want to catch one of those too.
Oh,
a Prussian?
Prussian, yeah.
You haven't caught one?
No, Dino sent me to the spot and there was no Prussians there. Damn guy.
I got a spot I'll share you, Ricky.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same one he shared to me. Hopefully it's a better one. No, I guess the water levels changed
He shared
majorly.
my spot with you. You and I'll talk. Yeah, if he shared my spot with you, that'll be the last time I involve him in my next engagement. Let's put it that way.
It's the same. No, he's in trouble.
Yeah, I might go for the Persian. I got an invite to go. There's a lake up here that's full of them, I guess.
Did you call them Persian carp? That's a new one.
Yeah, the Persians. I'll get
Persian
one.
carp.
I'll get one with the bow. Tigers, Persian carps. I'll get them all.
I need a Persian too. Yeah.
I'm actually due to go for some
I don't know
tigers.
what kind of Persian you're looking for.
I love their carpets. Never caught one of their fish.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
Peruvian carp, yeah. He says he gave you 15 carp ponds, which I would actually believe because
he did. I asked for one, and he gives me this huge list of spots. I was like, just one's fine, man. I didn't even like asking for any spots, but I figured it's okay if it's an invasive species. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't really feel bad asking for that type.
Well, I think when your fishing boyhood legend asks you for a Peruvian perch spot, that he'd be more than willing to give you 15.
I love how it keeps changing. Peruvian, Persian, Russian. The fish of many names.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have your picture on the ceiling in his bedroom, but that's all.
Oh, that's heartwarming, I think.
Oh, man.
He said there's room in his deep freeze for you because you'd be the best catch he ever made for your species.
I went too far.
Yeah.
Never too far. See you in 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. You guys got anything else you want to touch it? I'm tired.
Not at all. I kind of got to wrap it up here pretty soon, too.
Now you scared him off, Todd.
I got to go back to the sea can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's warm. I had to go get the light out of there tonight.
Where can we get your Northwest Adventures hats? Because, funny story. I see everyone but me with one.
You remember when I tried to give you one and you're like, nah, I don't need it.
I was totally
I've been talking about the hats.
It won't fit my head.
I would have probably said that. Although I said that about Bryce's hats, and they fit. So
Dino has one.
I need one in a flex fit.
That's who was wearing it. A balding dude that I've seen him wear a hat once in his life, and it was your hat, and he did it to rub it in. So we'll talk.
Don't worry. Give you a month or two. I'll have a whole lineup of everything.
Perfect.
Nice.
So just gotta get things back to normal. Get in the house and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm going off a box of moving stuff right now.
Still? Okay.
Yeah. I came home, hung out with Bennett. Then Aaron's like, you have 9 minutes. And I was like, oh, good. And everything was put away, and oh, man. But that's my sob story.
Not enough hours in a day.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, it's good talking to you, gentlemen.
Where can I find you, Ricky?
You can find me at Rickles Fisher. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. YouTube's where I put most of my material. That and my Facebook page as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not on TikTok or any of that. But yeah.
So check Ricky out there, Todd. You can't be
Forever,
found
man.
anymore.
You got my number. You got my number. It's not hard to find.
Well, you can find me here and all the Northwest pages. Thanks, guys, for being on.
Thanks, Mitch. Keep up the good work, bud.
We'll see everybody next Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Get out fishing. Go out and have some fun. Hopefully these fires go down. We get a bunch of rain, so we're going to go out west and have a big fire and sit around a campfire. Till next week.
Fly tires, kids. It's fly.